Arthur in the Treehouse is pretty great. I love Halloween, I love Arthur, combine them together, and I have a lot of fun. This is a special Arthur cartoon from 2017, directed apparently by Marc Brown, actually, which I think is quite exciting. And this is obviously set on the night of Halloween. And Arthur is having a sleepover in the treehouse, but things don't go according to plan because things get very creepy very quickly. And I will say, when weird things started to happen, I worked out quite quickly what was going on. There were still some missing pieces of the puzzle that meant I was, engaged and wanting to keep watching it to find out more, but I think it was kind of obvious. We also have various subplots. For example, Muffy and Baile encounter some problems in a cemetery when they're on their way trick-or-treating before they go to Arthur's house, and Baile's costume looks wonderful. Francine has a story to tell about a creepy encounter she had when trick-or-treating. Binky is having problems with Mr. Ratburn's house, and I have to say, what Mr. Ratburn did for Halloween is fabulous. It's elaborate, it's excessive, but I love it. But I won't say any more than that. But I really love how that part of the narrative with Mr. Ratburn played out. Muffy's story was a nice way to bring several other stories together, and the treehouse, the scenes involving the treehouse, and then whenever they're in the Reed's house, I really loved those. I thought it was really good fun, some really nice tricks, and well, I won't say any more than that, but there are definitely some spooky goings-ons and some pretty clever things happening too that I thought was actually pretty inspiring. Maybe that's a bad thing, but I enjoyed it quite a lot. Some really great costumes. Arthur was... Well, actually, I won't say what Arthur is in case you watch this but haven't seen the Halloween episode where he explains what that costume is. See if you can guess what he's meant to be before he says what it is. But Baby Kate would win the prize for me. Baby Kate was adorable, ridiculously so. And Grandma Thora had an accompanying costume that I thought looked rather awesome too. If you like Halloween and you like Arthur, I think you're going to love this. Great mix of stories that are sometimes separate, sometimes pulled together. Really elaborate narrative with a lot going for it. Some things I said I feel were a bit obvious, but at the same time, even if that's the case, I was still fascinated to see what would happen next. And unfortunately, I feel like it would give some people some good ideas for some pranks to pull as well. A couple of spoiler thoughts I will say in a moment, but in general, this is absolutely brilliant. And I can completely see why it was a feature length. It's the equivalent of 4 segments or 2 full episodes, and it manages to sustain itself for the entire time really effectively well. Very well written, developed narrative that's an absolute joy to watch, and obviously very well animated too. So, spoilers from now, a couple of spoiler thoughts. I will say that the final prank, well, the penultimate prank on DW. Okay, I said spoilers, so I can go into detail. It's the prank where they put the doll among her toys, and while she's lying in bed, they use the walkie-talkie to talk to her. I feel like that was maybe a step too far, because that would terrify even me. And I watch horror films a lot, and I'm... spooky things don't scare me that easily, and honestly, that would have terrified me. I feel like it would have traumatized a young child. For me, at that age, it would have terrified me. My cat was meowing at a moth, and I wouldn't sleep for days because I thought it was a vampire bat. That's how timorous I was as a child. So I think that was maybe a step too far, but Arthur actually admitted that it was a step too far. Well, his parents told him it was a step too far, but I thought that worked really well, but maybe just not the nicest thing to do. And then what Grandma Thora did at the very end, I love it. I absolutely loved it. Really brought a smile to my face this episode. Really had a lot of fun with it. Definitely a really solid, well written, well developed, well animated Arthur special.